Yay Networks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Real Talk Kim podcast channel. I am so excited that you're with us today. Listen, I've got some great shows coming up this month, all month long. I've got surprises. I've got Angelo coming on, talking about finances, talking about starting your business, talking about all kinds of great, juicy stuff. And then I have my beautiful Mimi that is on today, and we're going to be talking about women in ministry, women that are stepping out, changing the game for their families. Talk about how Mimi's done it at 76 years old. She's out here killing the game. Y'all know I talk about her on my prayer calls, and I always tell y'all how she's just out here living her best life. We're going to talk about living your best life, but we're also going to talk about today people pleasing. I mean, that is one of the hardest things to get free from, is needing validation from people. And I always tell y'all this, that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And he does it through attacking areas in your life that you're insecure on. Like even before we started this podcast today, I was like, man, make sure that I'm this, make sure I'm that. Mimi was like, Kimberly, you tell us not to do this all the time, and here you are. So we're going to focus today on what's coming out of our mouths. I mean, y'all have sent some questions in. We're going to be hitting those questions as well. But while you're here, welcome. And thank you all for the support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel that you're watching from this. If it's Spotify, your Apple podcast channel, maybe it's my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Real Talk Kim. Make sure that you are subscribing. And while you're at it, share this with a friend. Share this with somebody that needs to hear what we're talking about today. And share it, like it, subscribe to it. And while you're at it, leave some incredible stars, 5 stars preferably. Yes. Leave some stars, because that's how people know if they want to watch this podcast or not. Y'all, when I tell you, when I go back and look at the insights for my podcast channel, I just can't even believe it. Like we had like 4 million downloads. I mean, that is just incredible. And I'm just so thankful. The good thing that I feel that this podcast does is it enlightens you to think differently on situations. And so we're going to get into it. I'm going to send you off to get your RTK journal, to get your popcorn, whatever you're going to eat while you're sitting and growing with us. And we're going to come right back after this break. So before you leave, subscribe to the channel that you're watching this from. Share this with somebody that you love, because we're going to be talking all things women, all things fun, all things relationships, all things getting your life back after grief. We're going to talk about people pleasing. And so I think it'll be touching you today. So go right now and get yourself ready for us to chop it up with you for about 25 minutes. I love you, and I'll see you in a minute. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done right here, right now. You could be covered from your couch in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. Fabric has flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget. Like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. It's all online and on your schedule. So apply when it's convenient for you. Plus, there's absolutely no risk. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/RTK. That's meetfabric.com/RTK. MEET fabric.com/RTK. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Insurance Company. Not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm here with my beautiful mother. I call her Mimi. Everybody calls you Mimi.
Yes.
It's so funny. It's like Dr. Mimi. You're a whole doctor.
Yes.
And everybody calls you Mimi. You're everyone's Mimi. So y'all, we're going to get into it today. We've had so many questions come in on the email just talking about how do I get free from people pleasing? How do I fall in love with myself? I want to talk to you, Mimi, really quickly because you were married to Dad for 52 years.
And I have an anniversary coming up the 10th.
The 10th of March, March the 10th. And y'all would have been married how long?
55 years.
What? Mm-hmm. Can you believe you were with the same man for 52 years?
No.
And when we talk about...
Yes, I can because I never saw me not being with him.
Really?
So, I never saw this time of my life because I just never thought that far because I don't think negative.
Yeah.
So I never would fear, oh my God, what's going to happen if he's gone? I never did.
I remember when Daddy, I was working at Bloomingdale's and Daddy, y'all went to get a stress test on Dad. And our family really never had sad stuff happen to us. Really, did we?
We really did. We were really blessed.
Yeah. Like some families just struggle
with sickness their whole entire life. Yep.
And we really didn't. And I remember y'all called me from the hospital and you said, Kimberly, they're rushing Daddy to the emergency room because he needs to get a heart stent. And I remember I lost my ever-loving mind. I remember I cried so hard that day because the reality of my parents are getting older and we've never struggled. It gave me empathy.
Yeah,
it really did. It made me realize that, man, people are really going through some hard things. And it made me feel my heart grew.
You know, they were doing a heart cath on him in the hospital, and he was asleep, and they brought him out of that, came out and said to me, we're putting him in an ambulance, taking him to Atlanta. He's got to have stents. And I'm like, what? And they said, don't follow the ambulance. Just go to the hospital. By myself. I am in the car by myself thinking, because we had never had anything really. I'd had stuff. I'd had struggles, with blindness in my right eye. I've had stuff. But I dealt with it. But as long as he was okay.
Yeah.
But, oh, my goodness, when it was him, it was a different story.
Yeah.
But then we came through it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with life.
Yes.
I think that...
The fear is greater than the reality. Do you know that?
Yeah. Fear is greater than... Because you don't know how you would ever do it. Yeah. And some people live... their whole life, like Daddy told you his whole life he was dying young.
No, when he asked me to marry him, he said, I really feel like I'm going to die young.
Really?
And I'm thinking, this guy is wanting to marry me, and he's telling me this now. So, yeah, he put that probably into existence.
Yeah.
Because 72 to me is not old.
And he also feared getting dementia.
Oh, yeah.
He feared one of his uncles had it.
He didn't say, I'm going to get it. He would say, I'm not getting it. He talked about it so much. I'm not getting that. I'm not going to have Alzheimer's. I'm not going. So it stayed in his mind. Yeah, I get it.
Man, I remember you were talking on my RTK Inner Circle one night talking about feelings buried alive never die. Mm-hmm. And how that you struggled with Mimi, with your mother.
Yeah.
A lot of your years just being angry at her.
Because she was sick. I had to become an adult and have children to start understanding my mom because she was sick most of our lives because she had lost a child when I was 7 and my 2-year-old brother died. And it changed it changed my mother's personality. It changed my mom's, her persona. Everything was, our home was different. And so I grew up from 7 until, and then later she had, in fact, 8.5 years later, she had a little girl. She had a baby because she wanted another child to take Randy's place. And then when the doctor came in and said, you've got a little girl, she said, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to see it. And so my mother wouldn't see that baby. She would not see my sister. You think my poor little sister, she probably suffers from rejection. But
because it's a fact, y'all.
Yes.
Everybody watching today, you've got to be careful what comes out of your mouth.
Serious.
You got to have people in your life that'll call you out.
Yes.
Like, I've got people in my life. Angelo calls me out. You'll call me out.
Yes.
Lincoln will call me out.
Yes.
I got people all around me because you are human. And you're going to face some things in life that are going to knock the wind out from you. It is, I have a cousin that is so fearful now of getting dementia because her mother died of dementia. And I tell her all the time, you are missing out on your whole life. My daddy died young, y'all, 72 years old, because he feared. He feared
it. And even though he used the scripture in Job all the time. He said the reason Job suffered all he suffered, that he lost everything, was because the scripture says, I don't know, it's in the 2nd chapter, but it said, the things I have feared has come upon me.
And I'm going to tell you,
said that.
Mom, I even believe that God gives us warning signs. Like, stop this. Like, in your body, pain. What you're holding on to, that arthritis that's jointing your fingers like this.
And I've already been through all of that.
Yes.
See, I went through so much through my lifetime and learned to let go.
And when you let go, your fingers came back.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all, my mother was diagnosed with arthritis.
Rheumatoid arthritis,
yes.
RA.
When she learned how to forgive her mother, that her mother didn't mean to be like that.
No, and so help me, that book helped me so much. But lots of times it's not you trying to think your way through it, get a hold of a book. Get a hold of a book or go to a seminar.
Readers are leaders, absolutely.
Go to a conference or go to things. Just do something. I tell God now, because it's worked for me for the last 20 years. I'm like, God, you tell me what to do and I will work with you.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
So many things you say now that I'm always listening to. I'm always stalking my daughter. So if she's on there and every morning at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be on her call. And she says so many things that I have said. And I'm thinking, she listened.
Yeah, I did. And all of you parents out there need to realize your kids are listening.
Yeah.
So Mimi, I want to talk about people pleasing real quick, because I have watched you turn into a beautiful butterfly. I literally watched you being a wallflower. I think I spent so many years of my life not wanting to become you, because
what?
I did. I think for me, it was watching you. You were so brilliant. Like, my dad was who he was because of you.
Yeah, I made him look good.
You did. I mean, he said...
I'm not tooting my own horn.
No, you were so humble.
I mean, I was doing all kinds of things so that he would look good.
And he did.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to become that. I didn't want to become someone that didn't get to live her life because I was so busy. And I think a lot of yours was people pleasing. I look back now, because now I'm watching you. Mom, you're living. Like, you sold your house. You moved a house that you and Daddy had. You moved downtown Atlanta. You're living in a beautiful high rise.
Yes.
You in Kingston. You are, Mimi, you are the building mascot. Like, you go play games on Sundays with the people in your building. You work out every day. At 76, you're always so happy. Like,
I've made so many friends.
We talk about this all the time.
Months. Yeah.
How you're just living.
I have coffee dates all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, lunch dates.
And hey, dating. You're out in these streets ever so often dating, but I have to tell the people you are hilarious. This woman right here, y'all, when I tell you.
So particular.
She wants you need probably a 50-year-old. You think? Would you marry a 50-year-old?
No.
What's your cap?
Oh, I don't know.
60?
Oh, God, I don't know.
You would be a cougar.
I know it. I wouldn't do that.
You know what Mimi tells me all the time? Mimi tells me.
Just somebody that's healthy. And
Mimi tells me at her age.
loves life.
That's not true. That is not true. This woman
that keeps himself up.
She doesn't want a man with a big belly.
Okay, but here's something else that is very important to me, and this is so hilarious. And I keep my friends at our exercise class roaring, because now they're looking, they're scanning, and when we meet guys, because we see guys at the exercise at our center, and it's a family life center. It's not a senior center. It really is. I mean, all kinds of people can go. But these guys come up and start talking. And then when they leave, I'm like, did you see his nose hairs? The reason I do that is because your dad was so particular about standing in front of that. I'd get on him. I'd say, I am ready. How can a woman get ready before a man?
You know Angelo's like that.
And he is clipping the,
Oh my
the
God.
hairs out of his ears, but especially the nose hairs. And so now, oh my God, they
Mom,
were telling
I would break up with men that had nose
See,
hairs.
there?
I'm not kidding. Like, not manicure.
it means they're not taking care of themselves.
Like,
So,
I don't like hairy men. Like, there's just things. And I know it's because of my dad.
I know it is.
Like, my dad was so particular.
I
He
know.
always looked like $1 million. That's what attracted me to Angelo, was he's so, into himself like dad was, right?
Yeah.
So, listen. So, Mimi, we're talking about people pleasing. And being that you're out in this world, like, you could have laid down and given up when Daddy died. How long has Daddy been gone?
It'll be 4 years in June.
Yeah, 4 years in June.
Hard to believe.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
4 years in June, my daddy's been gone. And I think the thing that made his death easier for us was that we literally said goodbye to him for 5 years. Like, he changed. He went into this little boy.
Especially, he did okay for 3 years. He was like, it was like having an adult toddler.
Yeah.
I mean, he was happy and loved kids, and gravitated to kids.
Yo, listen, we would be at Lenox Mall and he would go talk to these kids.
Because
and
we
I would
carried
be
him
like,
everywhere with us.
he's not a perv. He's got dementia.
Yeah.
We were always saying that.
Yeah. We'd always say, yes, dementia. Because he would just love the kids. And I think it's because the kids they gravitated to him.
Yeah.
Because he was really.
But I don't feel like he liked kids.
He didn't for years. I mean, he loved it. His grandkids.
But he did not have tolerance
But
for
he
kids. And
wasn't-
all of a sudden he became
Yeah.
kids' best friends.
Yeah.
That is so funny. So now that you are living on your own, doing all this big girl stuff, writing books, you do a ton for my ministry. You build Bible studies for us, for Inner Circle. You help write books. I mean, you are, in fact, HarperCollins, my book company, said you're my silent weapon. I agree. And so, but I found in you, like, when I really watch you, I have found that you don't care what people think about you. I'll be like, Mother, don't
not
say
really
that.
true, though.
Mimi. Y'all, Mimi says stuff that she should not be saying.
I know.
And she means it well, but it's because you got rid of people
And I
pleasing.
think it's just truth. I mean, if I say it, sometimes I just don't cover up like I used to. And the reason is because for many years, maybe 20 years of our lives, we were in a very strict group that taught me to be a real strong judge.
Oh, yeah.
I was a great judge of others. And if I had to look the way I looked to go to heaven, why in the world don't everybody else have to look like that?
Yeah.
And so because of that, it was easy to judge others. Well, just because you start changing your outside, you're not changing the insides. You've got
Come on,
to
Mimi.
consciously do something.
So tell us how you do that.
I
Tell the
talk to
person,
myself.
tell the person that's watching right now, tell them how you go from being critical, because I feel like you were.
I was very critical.
How do you go from being a critical person that's been that way your whole life, but yet you've turned into this freaking beautiful human at 76, 74?
I think in fact, when we were changing, I can remember my husband giving, because we were pastoring a very strict church. And so he started giving permission for our ladies to wear a wedding band, to start trimming their hair some. I would sit on the organ because I'm a musician, and I'd be sitting on that organ on Sunday nights or Sunday mornings and watching people come in and thinking, who's going to be different today? Well, I hadn't changed anything. I was the same. In fact, my son even said to me, Mom, I don't care if everybody in the church changes. I just don't want you to.
What a butthole.
But he was what? Y'all were probably 13 and 15. So he just wanted me to stay
And
like
there's
I
a lot of
was.
you out there that won't let your parents evolve.
Well, then here's the deal, though. So it was a whole year. Everybody was changing in our church. Everybody was just loving their lives. I'm still sitting on that organ. I still look the very same. I loved everybody, but I was the very same. And one Friday morning, I even told my husband, I said, you know what? You're the reason that I look like this in my 20s and 30s. And I said, and now I'm in my 40s. And so you're telling me now it doesn't require all of this to go to heaven? I'm like, you know what? I listened to you then, and I made that change. At 30, I looked like I was 60. And I said, so now I want to hear from God for me.
Yeah.
So I didn't let him, that's one reason I didn't change.
Yeah.
And I started talking to God for myself.
Come on.
And said, you created me. You know who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to be? Let me know. When you tell me, I'll do it. So one Friday morning I got up and I felt a release. I told my husband, I'll be back later. Where are you going? Hair salon. So I did. I called somebody, went to the hair salon, walked in that hair salon that day and said, I want my hair cut from down below, almost to my knees. I want them up to my shoulders. That was a lot. And so I did that. And then I said, and then I want a perm. And she's like, what? And I'm like, and I want a perm. And so I got it. Everything changed. The only thing was if I needed to, I could still twist that hair up because it still was here. And then I don't know that I ever cried at all about that. There was times after I started getting shorter. I can remember one time one of my friends cut it up to where when I tossed my head over in the shower, there was nothing to grab. I cried and thought, oh my God, I have lost my glory.
Change is hard. It really is. When I was doing my book tour for You Gotta Get Up, I was talking to someone and they said, do you think that a lot of the junk you went through was because all of a sudden you were so strict and sheltered? And then one day you don't have to be that way? Mm-hmm. There had to be something that happened at that point in your life that made you feel insecure, that made you feel afraid.
Because that did make you feel protected.
Yeah, because we were told God was hard.
As long as we looked the way we did, then we were safe.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it had to be, and I'm going to say this, and it's so strange because I got the Holy Spirit when I was 12 years old. My dad and mom they became Christians, and in our community, my dad and mom was the first ones to receive the Holy Spirit. So it was like a revolution took place. And my dad's alcoholic brothers even, they got saved. I mean, he was from a rough family. Even his dad had been an alcoholic for years and years and years. And then my dad all of a sudden becomes a Christian and he builds a church in our community.
Yeah.
Literally builds a church, not just starts a church, but builds it too. And it's still in that community. But when that happened, I watched them. And so I came up, my dad had me standing on a chair at 8 years old playing an accordion, beside him playing a guitar. So, I've always been churched, always. Yeah. And then my husband, I married him. I can remember when we were going to get married, and he said, Ann, you're going to have to, and I was coloring my hair. And he said, you're going to have to quit coloring your hair. And he said, and you're going to have to quit. And I'm like, what? This is how I looked when you fell for me. And he said, I know, but we're now you're now a preacher's wife. Everything changes when you become a preacher's wife.
Did you ever go through a season in your life where you were mad, feeling like because you were a boss. You were a photographer at a newspaper.
Yeah, I'm sure I resented it when we went through marriage problems and, we were having struggles. And I'm like, man, I'm doing this for this guy that doesn't appreciate what I've done. So, yes, of course there were times. But most of the time, I would have done anything and whatever. I was just very obedient. Very obedient.
So how do you, at this stage, because we're wrapping up for the first segment, how do you at this stage talking to someone, people are watching right now, people are starting over at different seasons of their life. Yeah,
starting over.
You got parents that have their kids walking through a divorce. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to celebrate. You got parents on here with their kids coming out of the closet. Like, how did you, as a parent, talk to this camera right now and tell these people how because Mimi, now you're 76 years old. You're going to be 77 July 10th. You are killing it. You're welcome.
Thank you for telling
You're
the world.
welcome. You are killing life. You have got free from people pleasing. You learn how to say no. One of the people pleasing, it is not knowing how to say no. It is putting your own feelings on the back burner. You don't do any of that. I don't do any of that anymore. And it's a conscious decision. So talk to that person right now that feels like they're spiraling out of control. Tell this person today how to get up after grief. It's one statement that literally makes your whole life come into formation of God's will. What is your one statement?
You know, for years, we did a Celebrate Recovery at our church. And so everybody had to stand up and say, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm a recovering whatever. And I would stand up and say, I'm a recovering people pleaser. So help me God, this is true. I was pastoring, and we were there. I was there because my friend had started Celebrate Recovery. She was over it, and I said, I will be here every week if I'm in town. I will be at this, supporting you. But then as I got in it, probably all those years doing that with her probably did something to me too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you go through the 12 steps and they were all, recovery
I bet
steps.
you're right.
Yeah.
I bet that really healed some things in you.
Yeah. And so I did that. And honestly, now I can say that 50 years old, what just changed my life. Something about turning
Me too.
50.
Y'all wait till you 50.
Yeah. And I'm
50s
so thankful.
are the best.
It is. My 50s were fantastic.
Yeah.
And really every year, whether I turn 60 or whatever, it's like, okay, one more year. Thank you, God, for this year.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you've done this year. But in people pleasing, so help me, because I had been a serial, and addicted people pleaser, because
It makes you so insecure.
People pleasing is prioritizing the needs of others before your own. I did that my whole entire life. And then, so now I can say that and then it was like, oh my God, I'll be selfish though. It'll be selfishness if I don't do this, if I don't go do this. And now I realize sometimes I just don't have to do it.
No.
I don't have to do it. I can just.
And if you get angry about it, it's your problem.
In fact, something happened the other day. Someone called me to do something. Oh, they were coming through town and they wanted me to have breakfast. Well, when I saw their message the morning of, they had sent it the night before, it was for that morning. This was last week. And so it was so crazy. This wasn't even like me. So she calls me that morning and says, hey, I'm here. I'm in town, just passing through, but I wanted to have breakfast with you. And I said, I am so sorry. Just like that, it came out of my head. I didn't even think about it. I said, I have an exercise class this morning, and I have friends expecting me there, and I cannot do breakfast. Any other time, honestly, you know me. I am
But you
ready,
don't play
set,
about your workout.
I'm ready, set, go. Because I love to socialize, guys.
She's a social butterfly.
I do. I love to go have lunch. I just love to go shop with people.
She loves talking on the phone.
Yeah, I like to be around people. But when I did that, I had to go back after I left the house, and I'm thinking, because guilt hit me.
Really?
And I thought, man, I should not have done that, because she came in, she was in town, she spent the night here. That was not the deal. But I had said in that text early that morning, absolutely, I was thinking it was going to be for Saturday morning. And I knew my Saturdays were free. But it wasn't that when she said, I'm here, are you ready to do breakfast? So I realized something has happened to me that now I don't even have to process. I can just know this is not good for me today.
I do the same thing now. Y'all listen. So we're going to cut this off right here. Let you go to have a potty break. We'll be right back right after this. That was good.
No.
You don't even feel bad no more. We'll be right back. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Listen, there's going to be times in your life where life is just going to life. Sometimes you're going to be drained. Sometimes you're going to be bursting with energy. But therapy can give you the self-awareness to build a social life that doesn't drain your battery. I love therapy. I go to therapy ever so often just to give myself a checkup. I'll go sit, make sure I'm good, make sure my heart is good. So listen, if you are thinking of starting therapy, good for you. Give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just go right now, fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge. So right now, find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/RTK today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/RTK. Welcome back, ma'am. This has been fun. We've been talking to Mimi, talking about how to process. This podcast went by really quick. I'm trying to keep these podcasts at like 30 minutes because I have a very short brain attention span, and I know people. But Mimi, you said something a while ago. You said I've gotten to a place now where I just let stuff go. That is the key to renewing your mind. Anxiety attacks come from people pleasing, from feeling like you let people down.
Yes.
High blood pressure, cholesterol issues, arthritis.
Physical problems, yes. Emotional problems too.
From beating yourself up because you can't be all things to all people. So here's what Mimi and I are challenging. All right. We are challenging you on this podcast. Leave in the comments what you're going to do this week that is prioritizing you. You might be a mama of 5 kids, but if you don't take care of you and you don't take care of your brain, get in one of our connect groups. You don't even got to be a part of Limitless, the church I pastor, to be a part of a connect group.
You know what's amazing with our Limitless Church? We have people leading connect groups that don't even live in Georgia.
That I've never met.
Yes.
And they're killing it.
And they have gone online. They have done the Get Plugged In. And they have got themselves, of course, they've been vetted by our team.
Yeah.
But they're
Limitless is such a special place because I'm just so proud because I push people to become leaders.
Yes.
I push people to step out and do things that are scary. And you can be a part of a connect group. Just go to limitlesschurch.live and get in a connect group every night. You could be out in the woods in Ohio, an hour away from Walmart, and feel like you're the loneliest person on the planet. All you gotta do is flip on your device. And every night there's something going on. Even my RTK Inner Circle. What are you even waiting on? Be a part of my community. We discuss on Monday nights in our Zooms how the power of your thinking. I mean, I'm always pouring in and you're always pouring into them. There's no reason for you to be walking around sick in your body because you can't let stuff go.
Did you know someone said something yesterday? One of the visitors at church, she was standing in the office with you and she said, I was so lonely. And since I've joined the Inner Circle, she said, I have a whole family of sisters. She says, I have sisters everywhere.
Yes.
She said, we talk all the time.
I love it because when I first started the RTK Inner Circle 4 years ago, October, they were real dependent on me. And as my life has grown, I mean, I don't have time anymore.
And they've grown.
They have. They're not needy. Yep. We have the retreats every 6 months. They come 70% came by themselves in January.
And how many were brand new?
Yes. Beautiful.
We had so many that this was our first retreat.
So the challenge that me and Mimi are giving you today as we close this out is to get out of your comfort zone this week. Do something that scares you.
Do something you've not done before.
Yes. Mine will not be jumping out of a plane, but I'll do something.
I would do that.
I know you would, and I would. Because what?
I don't know.
You are not jumping out of a plane. No, we're not doing this. She would jump out of a plane tomorrow. Do you have a bucket list?
I'm thinking about it.
No, she ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna go video you.
No, I want to go to Paris I want to do, that's my bucket list.
Really?
Paris.
I'll send you to Paris. So y'all, the challenge for you this week is to do something that you've been wanting to do. Take care of you. Make sure you're prioritizing yourself.
Yes.
Do some self-care. Stop beating yourself up for going to get your nails done. Stop beating yourself up for going to get your hair done. Stop beating yourself up because you are feeling like you ain't worthy of anything because your time belongs to your family. And get up this week and do something. Start writing in your book. Like you can reach out to rtkquestions@gmail.com. I'll send you book writing tips. I mean, we've got support all around us, and we would love to extend that to you. So what we want you to do is thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing to wherever you're watching this from. Please send us questions that we can cover. What would you like, topics that you would like for us to cover on this podcast to rtkquestions@gmail.com. You can be a part of my RTK Inner Circle, my community, by going to realtalkkim.com. And there's flyers on the front page of my website. And just push the flyer and it'll take you to the link. I also have a mastermind program that just started, and it is my one-on-one. You have to commit to a year to grow with me. And it's going to be the best year of your life. So join my mastermind. If you have any questions about mastermind, or I also have a business masterclass that I'm starting. You also can still go get the SOAR mastermind, the masterclass. Like, there's so much stuff. Just go to my website, realtalkkim.com, and join one of my programs that I have for you. Also, if you're in Atlanta, we invite you to come to Limitless Church. We have the best of everything. 1653 Highway 85 South, Fayetteville, Georgia, 30215, across from Whitewater High School. That is your mile marker. And anything else, Mimi?
No, I just think that's fantastic.
Make sure you send a text today. Send a
But
text
hey,
to someone.
remember, think
Tell
about
them you love
you.
them.
Think about you this week.
Yeah.
What do you want? What have you known that you needed to do and you haven't done it
Yeah.
yet?
I love that.
Just break out this
Break
week.
out
Yeah.
and do it.
Do something
Scared.
different. Yeah.
I love you guys. I will see you next week.
Yay Networks.